grab your popcorn, grab your tea, grab whatever you need, because this is about to get crazy, okay?
This the overcomers anthem, moving mountains and dancing. Got the keys to the kingdom, so by faith we already won. Whole squad got a war cry. Tell the enemy it ain't a fair.
So you all know that God has had me in this season and time of testimony, okay? He's really had me in a rhythm of just sharing my life with you all. And it's for his glory, okay? Because God gets all the glory, right? Y'all, I'm 50 years old, okay? So understand that I have lived a lot of life. And really and truly, I've lived more than I probably should have in this amount of time. But if you live long enough, you will come to find that your life will have layers and layers and layers and layers. Okay. So I want to share with you the time that I almost became a stripper, y'all. Yes, your girl. Yes. Okay. Blessed and highly favored, anointed and called forth in this time, predestined to be a trumpet sounding vessel in this time that we are in. Yes, me. I was almost on a pole, y'all. I was on a pole, but it's not what you think. Okay. So let me tell you all my testimony of how God saved me from becoming a stripper. This may have been in 1994 or 5. Okay. If you remember the testimony that I shared with you about the things that I went through at the church with the pastor, right? Y'all, I became different after that. I changed after that, in a sense that I just became very protective over myself, and I started to harden a little bit. Back in the day in Detroit, being a stripper was kind of a badge of honor. I know it sounds crazy, right? But back then, you were sort of looked at like an elite person, like a boss, right? Before people was even saying the word boss, you were that. And it was a respected industry. It was a respected profession, right? And this is what a lot of women were doing, okay? Not all women, but a lot of women were sort of resorting to becoming exotic dancers back in the day, right? So if you recall, I shared with you that at sort of the end of that transition of me leaving that church and everything that I had gone through, I had sort of at 18 years old developed this mindset that I was going to use men instead of them using me, because it just started to feel like I was always being victimized. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to be the one in control now. Remember, I shared that with you all. My process that I went through was like shame, embarrassment, hurt, anger, right? So I was at this anger stage, and I was saying to myself, like, I'm getting ready to control all the situations now. And whatever happens with my body is going to be my decision, not anybody else's, right? Now, obviously, this was the wrong thinking, okay? But again, you're talking about someone that has been violated multiple times over and over at the hands of different people throughout my younger life, right? From the age of 6 to 11. And then you know what happened when I turned 12. My virginity was stolen. And then you know that I got pregnant at 13. You know that I got pregnant again at 15. I had an abortion at 13, got pregnant at 15, had my daughter. And then we were at this church, and all of these things happened with this pastor. Okay, I'll link all of these videos below in this description. But I want to share with you how the enemy uses all of these darts and all of these things that he throws our way to derail us from our purpose, right? He uses these things to shift the way that we think and to change our spirit. And instead of having a light hearted spirit that is longing for God and searching for more of him, we become hardened in our heart and we start to develop this mindset of I got me. I'm going to take care of me and no more Mr. Nice Guy, right? Because in my mind, I was always being trampled over because I was too nice. You know, it was difficult for me to say no to someone. You know, it just was so many things that had happened in me as a result of all the things I had experienced to date, right? Well, to that point, I should say. So I sort of developed this mindset of, okay, y'all not going to get me. I'm going to get you. All right. And I'm going to determine if my body is going to be used, then you're going to pay me and I'm going to make sure that I'm in control of the situation. Right. But let me tell y'all how left that went real fast, y'all. Okay. So I got to tell you the story. So let me back up so I don't miss any parts. Okay. So I had determined in my mind that I was going to be a stripper. And I ain't tell nobody about this. I think I might have told one of my friends about it, right? Because she was thinking about doing it too. So, you know, you always got that one friend that's bad and y'all be plotting together to do stuff that you ain't got no business doing. And you be gassing each other up like, girl, let's do it. Let's do it. I had a friend like that, okay? I had a friend like that back in the day. I'm going to call her C. That was my homegirl. In case she ever sees this video, I haven't seen her in years, but I'm going to call her C. That was my girl, right? So I used to always be like, girl, so what we gonna do? Whatever. And she like, let's do it, right? So we sort of had our own paths of trying to figure out how we were going to break into this exotic industry, you know, dancing, okay? So at that time, now y'all, just going to tell you how old I am. At that time, we still had newspapers being delivered. So there were ads all the time. You would look in the paper for ads and stuff. It's not like it is now when you go online and you just be like, okay, let me see what's what, right? No, it wasn't like that. You had newspapers. You went in, looked at the newspaper, or either you went into the actual facility and talked to the manager person who was working and see if you can audition or whatever, right? Crazy. So I decide that I want to go and audition for this gentleman's club. Okay. Now, y'all, as hard as I was trying to be, as bold as I was trying to be, that was not for me. Okay. I'm telling you, I felt so, just naked, literally. Okay. I felt like so dirty doing that, right? So I auditioned and it was a predominantly white gentleman's club, right? Because I was afraid that if I stayed closer to the city, like people would recognize me, somebody would know me. So I went further out so I could be somewhere where most of us, my people, would not be, right? My peers, none of that. And it wouldn't be like, oh, did y'all see Tisha man that, right? So I was trying to be strategic with my stuff, even though I was trying to take charge and do my own thing, right? So I go further out, right? And I find this gentleman's club that isn't this. I don't even think it was a black girl in there, right? And so I auditioned and everything. And they're like, okay, like, you know, we need to get you some classes, whatever. Cause I didn't know nothing about that. I just went in there thinking all I had to do was just look cute and try to move around. But it's an art to pole dancing. Okay. I'm not glorifying it. I'm just saying those women are pretty much gymnastic. They're pretty much gymnasts. Okay. They got some, listen, you just can't do it just because you cute. All right. So they were like, okay, well, you aren't, you know, really skilled in this. You need to take some classes, blah, blah, blah. Right. But we do want you to practice and whatever. So now this is the crazy part, y'all. Because I'm not a person that was just so easily like, oh, I'm just going to show my body to all these men on this stage, right? Y'all, I had to drink. I had to like take shot after shot. And I wasn't even a drinker. I'm telling you, this is how far down in the abyss people can go based off of trying to take control back of their life after it has been shattered, right? And then you end up shattering it even more, right? But to God be the glory. That was not my portion. It wasn't my path. Hallelujah. So I started drinking in order to be able to be on this stage in front of these men dancing, right? But y'all, it just wasn't for me. Like when I tell you, these women were cutthroat. Like it was a world that I had no idea. I had no idea that this world was like it was. It is a literal cutthroat, dog eat dog. You got to think about it. If everybody is there because they've gone through some things in their life, right? Nobody just becomes a stripper because they just wake up and say, oh, I just have dreams of being a dancer one day. Something traumatizing got you to that point, just as it did me, right? So you got to think, these women, most of them, I'm going to say mostly all of them, have been abused. They've been in a situation where they felt like this is them taking control of their life, right? But they also have had to harden themselves, harden their hearts to be able to go into this industry. So now imagine hardening your heart, right? Going into this industry thinking I'm going to control the narrative. I'm going to use my body as a weapon now and I'm going to get paid for it. Imagine having that mindset, right? But then you stay in that industry. You become harder and harder and harder, right? So when I came in, I was naive. I was green. And these women that were in there, they were already vets. And they were looking at me like, she don't know what she getting herself into. And they were right. So for a few weeks, I would go and I would dance and I would be so uncomfortable because I would have to drink. It just was the most uncomfortable feeling for me, right? So I ended up talking to the manager. It was a lady. And she's like, I don't think this is for you. She's like, I just don't think this is for you. And, you just don't seem comfortable and blah, 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 blah. Right. And she said, but I know someone that you could work with, maybe doing private dances. So maybe like bachelor parties and things like that, where you don't have to be in front of so many people and on. And it's more private. And, it'll be businessmen and it'll be at private settings and right? Not so open, everything. And I was like, okay, y'all, she connected me with this older lady. This is an older white lady, right? Really sweet lady. And she said, give her a call. And she's really nice. And her business, she runs, really good business. And the girls make really good money. And they whatever, right? So I said, okay, y'all, I called this lady. And we talked on the phone and she said, I would love to meet you. She sounded so innocent and so sweet, right? She said, I would love to meet you in person. Can you come to my house for an interview? I said, sure. Y'all, I'm telling you. Woo! To God be the glory. So I go to this lady's house, right? Y'all, it was like a mansion, okay? I go to her house and I'm first of all blown away. I'm in awe of what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh my God, this lady is rich, okay? This was my first time at that point. I was maybe I was 19 at that point, maybe 19, 20, somewhere in there, okay? This was my first time at that point being in a mansion, okay? Y'all went into this house. Y'all want to tell me why there was a swimming pool, in-ground swimming pool in the living room? Like you walk in the house, right? And I don't want to say it was in the living room. You walk in the house and you got like these big grand staircases. And then there's like another little walkway, but that's the pool. Like almost like the pool is in the hallway, so to speak, leading into the living room. It's hard to explain. Marble floors, like y'all, I was mesmerized, okay? I was like, this lady is rich, okay? So fast forward, really sweet lady. She was so nice. She took me into her living room and we sat down and we talked. And she tell me about yourself. And I'm talking to her and da-da. And, so you're new at this and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to be able to make my own money and this and this. Okay, remember, also, this was a respected industry back then, y'all. I know it sounds crazy, but in Detroit at that time, if you were an exotic dancer and you were good at it, or people respected you. It wasn't like people talked about you like, oh, she a dancer. No, it was really literally sort of a top tier career. Unfortunately. Okay. So I'm talking to her and everything. And she's like, so I have another girl that's starting and I want to pair you two together and I want to try you out on a couple of bachelor parties. She's like, these are very respectable businessmen, so you're not going to have anything to worry about. No one's going to do anything. You're just going to go. And sometimes they just want you to walk around or just sit down and talk, and you don't even have to dance, right? So she's kind of selling this to me as like, you really don't have to go and drop it like it's hot and twerk it. All you got to do is basically go and socialize with these elite, wealthy men and be company for them during the bachelor parties, maybe dance, maybe serve some drinks, boom. Okay. And I'm like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. I don't got to dance either, but you will have to be in your attire that is like, your dancing. You got to be in your stripper heels. You got to be in your, you got to be sexy. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. I was like, great. I don't have to dance because it wasn't in me. I really didn't want to do it, which is why the manager of the club was like, this is not your lane right here. Right. So I really didn't want to do it. So that made me feel better. I'm like, oh my God. So the lady was like, you'll make $275 an hour. And they pay a fee to be a part of the service. So basically, you couldn't even be a part of her service unless you paid a fee. You had to pay a fee to even have her dancers come to your party, whatever. It wasn't just like you just banned it. It's almost like you gotta like pay her to even be able to pay for dancers. Okay. Right. Y'all, me and this girl that she paired me with. Okay. Really sweet girl. She was like me, green, naive, didn't know nothing, nervous, right? And so we go to this party. Y'all. And we're there and we're walking around, we're talking. Nobody asked us to dance one single time. The guys pretty much weren't even focused on us. I mean, I'm assuming the guy that was getting married just really was into getting married. He wasn't thinking about no strippers, no dancers, none of that, right? So they're really focused on him and cheers to you getting married. It's not really about us. So it was easy money, right? And we're just like, wow, okay, this is all we got to do. Just show up and be cute. We don't got to do nothing. Like, this is it. I'm thinking to myself, like, I have found the lick. I have hit a lick right here. I don't got to dance. I don't got to take my clothes off. I just got to show up and be sexy and socialize, look cute, smile, and take the money. That's it. These guys, you could tell they were very astute businessmen. They just were they were very polite. Oh my God. Nobody was like gawking at us. And like, it felt like, okay, I can do this, right? That was the enemy's play, right? That was his play. Wait for it. We did another party And it was kind of the same thing, except this time you had guys that were a little bit more like flirtatious and a little bit more like want to be near you and want to know like, so what's your name? And what are you da? How did you end up doing this? And whatever. And maybe want you to sit on their lap kind of thing, whatever, right? That was getting a little bit more like, okay, it's almost like you're being weaned into something a little bit more. But in my mind, because I'm young, I'm just thinking this is the worst of it. Okay. Like I got to sit on this guy's lap and okay, he just wants to talk to me. That's the worst of it, right? Y'all, do y'all want to tell me why? The next time this lady booked me, right? She booked me and it was another girl. Now it was a new girl. Okay. It was a different girl that she had me with. She booked me and this other girl. And we were supposed to go and do a private dance. She booked me and this other girl, right? And we were supposed to go and do a private dance for this guy. But the problem is he's in a hotel room. Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? So we get there and the girl that I was with, she was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this. And I'm like, yeah, me either. I'm like, I don't understand like why we're coming to like just see one person. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, well, let's just see like, cause again, this lady is a whole legit business. Like we didn't gave her our what you call it, IDs, and we had to take pictures and photo IDs. It was like we really had to go through a process to be hired on to her company. Okay. It wasn't just like you just say, okay, I'm gonna go do it and that's it. No, you had to go through a process like a legit job, right? We get in this man's hotel room, y'all. Woo, Lord Jesus. Y'all, when I think about the things that God has saved me from, we get into this man's hotel room, y'all. And he's there and he's chill and everything. And he's very friendly and everything. It's a very nice hotel room. Now it's like a suite. It's not no motel. Okay. This is like a top of the line sort of like businessman type suite. It was nice. Okay. But it still was like, this was the first time that it's not a bachelor party or like a something that where's a lot of people there. It was just really weird. Okay. So we go in and the guy he's nice and he's speaking to us and everything. And so we go and we put on our gear and everything. And he's like, you guys are beautiful, da da da. And we're still kind of like, what do we do? Does he just want to talk? So now, okay, let me say this. So in asking the lady that owned the company about this, like before we got there, she's like, oh, he's just a businessman. He's one of my regulars. He pays really good. He tips really good. And he just wants to have some dancers come by and, he's harmless. He's a really nice guy, upstanding, blah, 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 blah. How upstanding can you be if you got two strippers coming to your room? Okay. But I digress. So, well, how upstanding can you be if you're a stripper going to a room, right? Oh, all of it is crazy. Okay. But anyway, so she tells me like, no, he's good. He's one of my regulars. He pays really good. Da, 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 da. Okay. All right. So I'm trusting what she's telling me because so far she's only sent me to places where nobody has even wanted me to dance. And I got paid, right? All I had to do was just go and just sit there and pretty much look cute. And it was just great. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a gravy train, right? To go in and he's nice, like I said. And after we were talking for a minute and everything, he asked us if we want to drink. And we said no, because that was like the rule. Like, you don't drink. Okay. You just don't. So, and the other rule was if you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, then you call her and she pretty much sends her people to come pick you up and everything, right? I mean, it was like a kind of like a real business. Okay. So you felt like you were working at a company. So after a few minutes of talking, he takes his clothes off and all he got is boxers on. And he goes and lays in the bed. And me and the girl that was with me, we started looking at each other like, what is he doing? Like, and so I'm like, because I was a little bit more assertive than her. And I'm like, so do you just want us to sit here and, talk to you? Or like, I'm nervous. So I'm trying to like make up for that nervous energy that we're feeling. And I'm trying to feel the awkwardness with like, so talking to him and, just like, you want us to dance. You want us to, what do you want us to do? Whatever. And he's like, no, I just want you all to come sit with me. I just want you to come sit with me. I want to watch, television, and I've just had a long week and I just want you guys to come sit with me. And we're like, okay. So we go and we sit with, it's a big bed. So we go and we sit with him, right? This man started trying to take her bra off, right? And she's looking at me and she's like she couldn't get her words out. And I was like, so did you want us to dance or, I'm jumping in? And he's like, no, I don't need you to do any of that. So he started pulling us close to him, right? So I was like, you know what? I think we have a misunderstanding about what we were supposed to come here and do. And he was like, what do you mean? I already paid for the service. You're supposed to be, here as companionship. I said, no, we were supposed to come and dance for you. And I think you misunderstood what we're supposed to do. So he said, hold on a second. So he gets upset, y'all. He gets up, gets on the phone. He calls our boss, right? He's going off. I don't think they understand what they're supposed to be doing here. Like, if they're not gonna, do what I paid for them to do, then I want my money back. This is how he's talking. Like, you can hear him talking. I want my money back, blah, 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 blah. So she's like, I guess it sounds like maybe she's apologizing to him, whatever. So she calls me because she gave us a phone, right? So we had a phone, like a direct line to her, right? If anything goes crazy. So she calls me and she's like, so what's going on? And I'm like, so by this time, we putting our clothes on. We done already got dressed. We ain't in stripper mode no more. Okay. We done got fully dressed. And I done became the protector to this girl now. I'm like, come on. We getting ready to leave. We leaving. So we ain't even staying. We don't want to hear, we don't care what's going on. Cause clearly you expecting something else, buddy. You got it confused. So we, leave out. Right. And I'm pretty much caring for this girl, like, you okay? And she's like, yeah. I said, she's like, I don't think this is for me. I said, yeah, I don't think this is for me either. So the lady calls me and she's like, so what happened? And I'm like, I think he wants more than a dance. He started trying to like undress us and he wanted us to be on the bed with him. And she's like, well, I mean, what's the problem? This is what she said. And I'm like, she said, well, he's already paid his money. She said, if you don't go back in there, I'm going to have to give him his money back and you're not going to be paid. And I was like, well, that's okay, because I'm not going back in there. Neither one of us are going back in there. And she said, you said that you wanted to make money. And I said, yeah, to dance. And she said, okay, well, that's what this is. But this is a private dance. This is a private club. Y'all, this lady was a madam. She was a madam. And my naive tail, trying to jump out here thinking I'm going to control my life and what I do, jumped out here and almost got swallowed by a shark. Y'all, this lady was a whole madam. A whole madam. This was not a service for dancers only. Y'all, this was a whole escort agency. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. So the first two events that she sent me to, they seemed so easy breezy, right? Because she was trying to reel me in with that quick, big money, right? And I guess she was thinking that I was so excited about making this money, I was just going to prostitute my whole self for some money. On no day of the week. On no day of the week. For no type of dollar. Y'all, I was so blown away. And so I never went back. That was it. That was the last time I ever talked to her again. Like, my desire to be a stripper, my whole mindset of I'm going to control the narrative and I'm going to give that was over. That ended so fast, y'all. Oh my God. It's crazy that I'm up here telling y'all this because this is not any. Oh, did I tell my mother about this? Oh my God. I got to call my mother because I don't even know if I told her about this. She knows that I was attempting to try and like be a dancer, right? She know I only did that a few times, literally a handful of times, got on the stage, right? And they was like, this ain't for you. But I don't think I told her about this part. Y'all, it was so crazy. Oh my God. But to God be the glory. Do you see how quickly pain and trauma can unravel you and spiral you into a hellish abyss? Do you see the plan and plot of the enemy? His job was to come in and strip me of my innocence at a young age, right? Shame me in the process, then get me to trusting people that came in the name of God, right? Only to have me shamed and used and humiliated again, then to force me into anger so that I would take a different path other than the one that the Lord had set before me, the path of life. But this is how good our God is. Acknowledge me in all your ways, and I will direct your paths. So at no point in time did I ever stop acknowledging God. There was a time when I was angry with him, but God always stayed connected to me. That holy umbilical cord was always connected to me so that I could never stray too far away. Y'all, think about the fallout that could have happened from that. I could have become an alcoholic. I could have entered into a life of stripping and drugs and who knows what else could have come from that. Y'all, God is so faithful. So when I come on here and I share my testimonies with you, don't you dare judge what God has brought me from, because I'm here to tell you that he can save the unsavable. Okay. He can rescue you out of the dirt while you're muddy. Have you not read the story of the prodigal son? That is exactly what this is. When you leave and you stray away and you go your own way and you think, I got this, I got me, I'm going to make my life for myself. And you find that you end up smack flat on the ground. That is when God can get a hold of you. And then the moment that you come back to his arms, it's like you never left. Restoration, beauty for ashes, redeeming the time. Listen, and I already talked to my husband about sharing this testimony, y'all, because this was one of those that I wasn't sure I was going to share. And I'm like, babe, this right here is a lot. But to God be the glory. He's blessed me with a husband that understands the call on my life and honors it and encourages me to continue to do what the Lord has instructed me to do. Y'all, I am a living witness of the goodness and the grace and the mercy and the healing power of God to restore the broken things. God is good. And if you would just say yes to him, I promise you, all the pain that you've endured, all the trauma that you've endured, all of the heartache that you have endured, the brokenness, the loss, God will heal you. He will put you back together again. And no one will be able to break you. I'm telling you, as I'm sitting here talking to you right now, God is a restorer. He is a chain breaker. He is the mender of broken hearts. No one can restore the way that God can. No one can bring you back to life like God, put you back together better than you were, by the way, and elevate you for the world to see that He is King. Be blessed on today. I love you on today. God loves you so much more. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.